In this video, I will go through my super simple, inexpensive busking setup. And I will also go through some alternatives and potential upgrades. If you're looking to become a busker or you just fancy giving it a go, then here is a guide as to what equipment you might need, as well as some rough costs. Let's get into it. First things first is an amplifier. I get a lot of questions about my amplifier because it isn't one that you commonly see. I actually got this amp to play a one-off outdoor gig during the pandemic. Back when I bought it, I actually had no intention of using it for busking, but now it is more than paid for itself. I use the Sub-Zero portable busking amp. You can get it from a site called Gear for Music for $189.99. That's pounds, by the way. And I rate it. I really do. The sound quality is good and it's pretty dang loud. It can get slightly distorted when the volume is really up, but for the most part it's clean and crisp. It has two inputs and therefore two channels, one for guitar and one for microphone. Both are 1/4" jack inputs, so if you're going to use this amp you just need to make sure that your mic cable has a jack end. The guitar channel comes with amp simulators, although I never actually use these, I just leave it on the acoustic one. The microphone channel comes with a tone adjustment as well as an echo effects adjustment. The amp also has inbuilt effects. There's a chorus, flanger, delay and a tremolo, as well as another echo, two more delays and a reverb. To be honest, these aren't the greatest sounding things. As a busker, I don't envisage that you'll need to use these effects. I do use the reverb and it actually sounds great. It also has some fancy bits like a Bluetooth function, a pre-save option so it can remember your simulation, EQ and effects settings. Although again, I don't use any of these. I guess I'm kind of old school, I just set it up and leave it set up. My favorite thing about this amp by far, maybe other than the price, is it charges via the mains. There is no need to spend those hard-earned donations on batteries. You just plug it in and charge it up. They say it has 4 hours of battery life. In my experience, I've actually made it go a little longer, maybe 5-6 hours, and it really doesn't take that long to charge. So if you're looking for an inexpensive busking amp, then I highly recommend this one. It should pay for itself within a few busks.
Remember when we went to Belgium first?
As for alternatives / upgrades, almost all the buskers I know use the Roland Cube Street X. I think this would probably be one of the most obvious upgrades. It's similar in size to the Sub-Zero and it also has two inputs and therefore two channels. The key differences are it's 50 watts, although you're probably not going to be turning it up that loud in the streets. It does mean that as you turn it up, it doesn't lose any quality. It has 20 hours of charge. And this is cool, however, it uses batteries. So even though you get longer out of the amp, if you're busking 2 hours a day, every 10 days you're going to need to buy a new set of batteries, which in my opinion is a bit of a shame. And the last major difference is the price. This will set you back £579. A little bit of a step up. There's a good reason why most buskers choose this amp. It's a great bit of kit, but for me personally, I feel like buying batteries every 10 days will soon add up. If you were looking to make a larger investment on your busking amp, then I personally recommend choosing something like the Bose S1 portable PA system. It's a similar price to the Roland Street X, coming in at £599. But the key difference is it's chargeable via the mains. For me, I think that's where I will go as and when I feel like upgrading from the Sub-Zero. If you were looking for something that isn't so pricey and maybe meet in the middle of these three, then another alternative is the Boss Cube ST2. Another amp I often see on the streets. It comes in at £289. One of the best things about this amp is its weight. It's 4.4 kg. All of the amps I've spoken about so far are over 7. And when you're wandering around, walking about, this sure would make a difference. Again though, this amp requires batteries. The most important factor you're probably needing to consider is how often you're going to use the amp and how loud you might need it to be and how many things you're going to plug into it. But I can personally vouch for the Sub-Zero, especially if you're looking for something that's super affordable, that you can pay for within a few busks without the need on further spending for batteries.
They can say all they want about it, doesn't mean I don't doubt it sometimes.
Okay, let's talk microphone. Other than the amp, the only other piece of musical kit I think you need to consider is the microphone. Your cables, your mic stand, they're very standard pieces of gear and they don't really have any variables. For live vocals, you're gonna need a dynamic microphone. I personally use the AKG D5. It comes in at £79.99 again. And it's a great microphone. It's clear, it's precise. I've never had any feedback issues. It's robust and it's easy to clean, which might sound funny, but microphone gets pretty grim when you're using it 2 hours every day. An obvious alternative to this would be the Shure SM58. It's like the OG microphone. If you were gonna draw a microphone, that's probably what you'd draw. The reason I don't use a Shure SM58 is its round shape. From personal experience, if you drop this microphone, it tends to dent. If you go to an old venue, they tend to have a lot of dented Shure SM58s. And when you're emptying your bag, about to set up for a busk, you'll find that your microphone falls out quite often. At least it does for me. I like the robust, more rigid shape of the AKG microphone, but I'm sure both sound absolutely fine. I think either mic would be suitable, and both come in at a very similar price.
Places to find peace and quiet. You can live in a van, take a flight out, escape the riot.
The card reader, being a cashless busker, does feel very futuristic, but I highly recommend you get a card reader. I would say I get about 30 to 40% of all my donations come through the card. That would be 30 to 40% I'd be missing out on if I didn't have it. It's also somewhat a novelty to passers-by. People actually take more interest in you because you have a card reader. Now there are a few different card readers you can get, but the one that all the buskers go for is the Zettel card reader 2. I think there used to be the number 1, but now there's the number 2. I don't even know. This is simply because it's one of the only card readers that offers the repeat pay function. And this essentially means that the card continuously charges the amount you've set it to. So when somebody pays, it just resets and it will do this over and over again. Meaning you set it up and you leave it whilst you play, and as many people can tap it as many times as they like. It links to your phone via Bluetooth, and there's an app where you set the price. It has sales data, reports, different things. And you link it to PayPal, which is where the money gets deposited after a couple of days or so. The Zettel itself is £29, and then it charges 1.75% on every transaction, which you just need to take into account when you're setting your price. I'm not sure if there are any alternatives to Zettel simply because of the repeat pay function. So if you do know of any alternatives, then drop it in the comments, and that way people can see for themselves. Other miscellaneous equipment. As I've already said, any other equipment you need for busking comes as very standard. Mic stands, signs, cases, cables. Obviously your instrument, but that's gonna be personal to you. Doesn't really come under busking setup. The only other piece of kit that I highly recommend you get is a clip. I got mine from Tiger, good old Tiger, and it was £4. It's great because you can clip your card reader to your case or whatever vessel you're using to collect donations. Meaning it's right there, exactly where you'd throw coins in. A great little tip from me. So overall, my complete busking setup comes in at £315, thereabouts, which can be made back in donations in no time at all. Go to Hastings for a few days and you'll be fine. I've written all of the gear I've mentioned in this video in a list in the description, so if you need to look at anything or want to research anything, then just head there. And I hope this video helps kickstart your busking journey. Give the video a like, maybe click subscribe on the channel. I make videos every week, and if you're feeling really committed, then hit the notifications bell. I will see you next Monday, and until then, have a great time. Peace, love, happiness.